Miss Janeen. We finally got you in here.
Yes.
All right. So this thing, this
beautiful place,
salon / everything else. Tell me about this thing. How does it make you feel coming into this shop? You know, doing your thing as a barber and a stylist. How does this bring you this salon atmosphere? How does it make you feel?
So this place is called BC Om meaning men.
Okay.
It is a men's grooming lounge. Women are definitely welcome, because I do want to point out, men created the barbershop, but women perfected it. So,
Okay.
know the girls. However, women are welcome. What we offer here is something like no other. We have a manicurist, nail technician, massage therapist, esthetician. The esthetician is a barber as well. We have 3 master barbers that work in the barber shop.
Okay.
And then you have me, your Cosmo Barb.
Okay.
So coming in here is like coming home.
Right.
And not home, but
Right,
home.
home,
Like,
right.
you are super comfortable. Like, it makes coming to work easy. To think, okay, I can touch someone and do their hair or cut their hair, and then they can come out into this beautiful space and just network with people. Like, so many things have happened. Like, we've only been in this space for a month now. We've been open for a month.
Right.
And within that month, just the connections, you see people who have just like-minded things in common and just connect right here at the bar or sitting in the lounge. Yeah, it's just a place for people to just come, get their services, be able to relax, take a load off, and then
touch a little bit on the theme though. This 60s, 50s.
It's everything. So Dave Singleton, this is all his vision. He put this place together single-handedly. I can't take credit for any of this.
Okay.
I did a little of the finishing touches. When I say a little, I mean a little. Everything you see is part of Dave's vision and what he wanted. And this just changes the whole game in the industry.
The vibe.
Everything. Nothing like this exists.
Yeah.
So for him to create it and then for me to be a part of it, it's amazing.
Very, very antique-ish.
Absolutely.
So let's get more into you. How long you been a barber?
So I started off cosmetology. I graduated from Paul Mitchell in Jessup in 2014. And I knew after hair school that I did not want to go to a salon.
Okay.
I did not want to be around a whole bunch of catty females. I spent a year with them and I was done. But I always had a love for learning the barbering aspect because, in hair school, barbering falls under cosmetology, but it's not touched on as in depth as much as the rest of the other skills you'll learn. So I've always wanted to be a barber. So I got word that Brian at White's Barber Co. was looking for another cosmetologist to bring in the shop, and it worked out perfect because that was a barber shop. And I'm like, cool, I can actually get that in-shop experience, because you can learn in school, but it's nothing like being behind the chair. Absolutely.
So you're a barber and a stylist.
I'm a barber and a stylist.
What do you feel like you like more?
Because I'm comfortable with cosmetology, that's my comfort zone. I really enjoy barbering because that's something new for me to engage in, something new skills for me to learn. And then I get to actually give a woman's touch on such a more male-dominated field.
Is that more intimidating?
I would say no.
It's not?
No, because...
Like you might mess up the line.
So that part is intimidating.
Yeah.
That part, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting out, that part was very intimidating. I was ducking cuts. Like, let me get the even all over. Let me get the guy with the beard with the bald head, But then once you train your eye and you get good mentors and people show you different skills, different techniques, and then you learn your own, it becomes more comfortable.
More natural.
Yeah. So the biggest thing about barbering is just having confidence. Once you got your confidence, then you're not as nervous and you won't feel like you're going to set somebody up, And then paying attention to detail is important because our guests will sit in the chair and tell me what they want, but you find too often the barber give them what they want and not necessarily what they ask for. So doing a good consult and, you know, paying attention to exactly what the needs of the guest is.
Okay.
You can't fail if you're paying attention to what they say that they want.
So what inspired you to want to become
A barber.
So,
growing up, life was a little difficult, you
Okay.
know, as in most, you know, families. But for me, my mom was a single mom, God rest her soul.
Okay.
It was me, my sister, and my brother, and so she couldn't afford to get my brother haircuts all the time. So I would bust open a disposable razor, and even I never had no clippers, but I always knew how to do shape ups. Like even coming in, I was tight on my shape ups.
Okay.
I used to line them up with just a straight razor, straight out of the disposable razor.
Yeah.
So that was one of my biggest inspirations, to never see the men in my family have to ever worry about getting a haircut.
Okay. So, how long ago was that, you think?
That was in high school, so that was probably like in around 2000, 17 years ago. Yeah, because my little brother was then in elementary.
Okay.
So, yes. That sounds like a long time. No, but Jesus. We in 2018.
Of course.
So, yeah.
So what, your journey becoming a combo, you know, a barber and a stylist, how do you feel like your journey has been thus far?
It's been a challenging journey. I started out doing hair when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And growing up, I never ever thought that I would be a cosmetologist or a barber, because I felt like my place was in the civilian world. I always picture myself in somebody's GS 14 or 15. Coming out of high school, I joined the Army when I was in 11th grade.
Okay.
So then, you know, I've been in the service 15 years, so I'm thinking, still corporate America, this is what we're trained to believe. And
do you cut hair and style hair?
I styled hair. So when I was deployed, yes, my sister was sending me hair.
That's what's up.
And I was in my little Connex, and I was hooking everybody up on post. But I wasn't into the barbering aspect yet, so I didn't do any cuts. But I definitely did braids and cornrows, things of that such.
Okay.
So when I came off active duty in 2012, we were in a recession at that time, and I could not find a job at all.
Okay.
And my friend Danielle, her mom, Regina Tola, I love her to pieces. She said, you know, God gave you a gift and you should use it. Make that your profession. You've been doing hair all this time, you know, you might as well do it full time. And it was, when she said it, it made sense to me. Like, that's true. Like, I always thought that this was something I would never do. I'm not going to be on my feet all day doing nobody's hair. But it was always what I did, whether it was on the side or whatever. I always did hair. So I followed her words of wisdom, and I went to hair school because, like I said, I was unemployed at the time. I got a new baby. My son was about 2 years old. And I wasn't making no money. So I'm like, okay, it's time for another career, because I just felt let down by, you know, the military. Like, we supposed to get veterans preference. I shouldn't have a problem finding a job, you know. And it was at that moment that I said I would never work for anyone by myself. So I used the gift God gave me, and I made a career out of it.
So earlier, I touched on the theme of this shop, and you know, being a part of a team. Yes. Do you ever feel like one day you're gonna want to own your own shop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know necessarily that I want a brick and mortar. I kind of want a space to, you know, hone all of, you know, the things that I want to do. But my goal is to be mobile. I started a mobile barbering spa and salon company last year, and my intentions is to get mobile vehicles all over this world. Daymaker vehicles all over, where we can service people who can't necessarily come to the shop. So your nursing homes and your people who just don't want to leave home for their own convenience, and go to them. So I want to be able to bring the barbering, the nail techs, the makeup artists if they need one, a massage therapist, right to them. So my goal is to own mobile vehicles, and just get my services to people.
So not like Uber Eats, but
like
something
exactly like that. You be able to turn on the app, and you want a service, and someone comes to your door.
Okay,
exactly.
That's what's up. So, do you think this barber industry is kind of difficult at times, or you don't find it too difficult?
So the thing I find most about the industry is the lack of professionalism. The industry for a long time has been a hustle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with a good hustle.
Right,
having being a barber on the side, that's cool. But as a professional, if you want to be taken serious, if you want to call yourself a celebrity barber, if you want to call yourself a celebrity anything, the very first thing you must do is get your license. At one point, barbers were respected as doctors, like, we were doing teeth extractions and all of that stuff, hence the barbering pole and the colors and all of that stuff. At one point, barbers actually dressed the part, came to work, and you were your walking billboard, and you took it serious because it wasn't a hustle for you. It wasn't just to make money. It wasn't nothing to, get something real quick. It was what you had to do to feed your family. And for me, that's exactly what it is. I have a 7-year-old, and this is my livelihood. And I think that in the barbering industry, there's too many frauds. There's too many people wanting to own the title as a barber, but don't want to take the next step to making it official by getting their license. And that's detriment. That's it's hard on the industry because the state doesn't take us serious either. So if you think how many state board inspectors we have for the state of Maryland alone, I can count on 2 hands. Now, in the state of Maryland, come from here all the way to the Eastern Shore. How are we supposed to police up every barbershop in between with, let's say, 10 state board inspectors? But the state is not going to fund barbering because the barbers haven't showed that they should invest their money in it. No one's filing their taxes. They're not even reporting their income. So in order for this industry to be maintained and restored, we have to start with focusing on people getting their license, and not just getting their license, but why don't you have your license? And what can we do to help you get your license? So I'm a part of the International Barbers Association, founded by Brian White, who's the president, and a couple of IBA members. We all hold each other accountable for each other, absolutely. And what Brian does Tuesdays and Wednesdays, he does a live feed, and he goes on and he does a state board exam review. So if your issue is passing the state board, we're willing to help you do that. We're willing to help you study. If you go once and you see where you failed, they're going to print out a sheet and they're going to tell you what area you did the worst in, and you bring that back, and we're going to help you get your license. And there's nothing to be afraid of. A lot of people just don't test well. And then you think about it, some people actually get their skill set in prison. My dad got locked up when I was 12 years old. He never touched a clipper, but I understand, okay, you have to find something to do. So they get that trade, and then they get out, but then they have to worry about finding a job. So now I got this skill set. I know I can make money cutting clippers, but maybe the literacy isn't up to par. So I'm not sure if I can pass that test. It might be intimidating. So that's what we want to target as the IBA, to get people, to not be afraid. And then if it's a literacy thing, we can, try and hone in on what the issues is and actually help them pass it. Because as long as we maintain a level of integrity within the industry, then we can be taken serious by our state, and we can actually get funding, and people would actually recognize barbering as a true profession. But now it's like, you go up on your prices, and they're like, I'm not gonna pay that for a haircut. Well, it's not just a haircut. It's an experience. But when you go to the barbershops where you don't get that, then it's like, okay, you understand how they're comparing it.
So let's touch on customer service.
Yes.
So, being in this environment, I know the customer service is really, really high.
Absolutely.
It's really, it's actually inspiring to me. Just walking into it, you already just automatically feel it.
Yes, absolutely.
So touch on that as far as
customer service. I think is one of the most important services. Like, it's not about how tight your fade is, not about how tight your lines are. Customer service is number one, because some people come to the barbershop just to get that interaction. Some people don't have nobody to even touch them or talk to them that whole 2 weeks that they waited to come back to sit in your chair. So it's important that when they come in, they feel welcome. So getting to know their name. Like, you can go into a shop, depending on where you go, and you walk in and you sit down and you haven't been addressed for an hour. Nobody even said hello. So it's important to, one, speak when your guests come in. And I don't like to call them clients. I call them guests because they're doing me a service by coming to me. You could have picked anybody else. A client to me is just a number. When you call them clients, you just, you're just knocking them off that number. So when they come in and you learn their name, that makes people feel good. You walk in somewhere, and even if I'm not their barber or their stylist, Brian also taught me that it don't matter who comes in. If they're coming to see Lotto, Dave, Kay, Mariah, whoever they come in to see, it's important for us to get to know these individuals, because they're going to keep coming, and we address them by their name, and not just look at them as another number, someone coming here to to get a service. So customer service is number one. It don't matter. So you can set a person up, but they will come back because of how you made them feel.
That's important. Do you have a favorite haircut or hairstyle? If you don't, why? If you do, which one?
So, cosmetology is my comfort zone.
Right.
That's what I'm used to, because I started out doing hair.
Okay.
So, all of that is my favorite. Good. But for barbering, my favorite is fading now. Like, I've learned how to break down the cut and actually see what it is that I'm doing. Now that I'm training my eye more, like, that's my favorite thing to do, because the more I do it, of course, the better I get. But whether it's a high fade, low fade, a temp, like anything where I have to blend the hair to make it appear as, going from 0 to a 3, I'm really into that. Like, that's my thing. And I've started learning how to do more designs. Like, I don't know how to draw, but
you're creative, so
exactly. Like, and the crazy thing is, I don't draw, but I can put your name in your hair. Like, I can cornrow your name in your hair. Like, but I want to be able to be that skilled in the barbering aspect where I can actually put lines in and it just be flawless. So
So how long you say you've been doing this now?
So 3 years.
No. How long you been a barber?
A barber? 3 years.
Okay. And then how long you been in college?
So it's the same. I went to hair school 2014, so we're coming up on 4 years. So I was doing it I was a kitchen beautician since I was 12.
So since you was 12, okay.
Yeah.
So,
but professionally since 2000,
Okay. Now you can do it 3 years, or you can do it since you was 12. A best moment. I know you have a best moment. Everybody has a best moment.
Best moment.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's a good question. Let me see. From the barbering aspect or just overall?
Yes, from a barbering.
From a barbering aspect. Yeah. Okay. So, when I first interviewed and was starting at White's Barber Company, I was in the kitchen and I was doing my homegirl Candace hair, and I was like, I have an interview with Brian at 12. Let me see if I can reschedule, because I wasn't done her weave. And I called Brian, and he was like, he had to leave, because he had to be somewhere else. He couldn't reschedule. So I was like, do you mind if I stop? I gotta go to this interview real quick. But I'll be right back. And me and Candace, she's one of my battle buddies. And so we've been overseas together. So it was it's like family. So I left her at the house. I put on the same clothes I had on the day before, because I was in my in my pajamas, right? They didn't know that, but I put on my same clothes and I went and I interviewed, but unbeknownst to me, Brian set me up. So he called me in on the day that everyone was in the shop because he's a stickler on everybody approving of that person. So he can interview with you, but how does she fit? How do you like her? So he would set up all his interviews if you're new to White's Barber Code where everyone is there. And walked in and, you know, asked, I was looking for Brian and he was like, we can interview like right here. So I'm like, oh snap, like just on the spot. I'm just gonna stand. Okay, cool. I walked down the line, introduced myself to everybody, met everybody, and that was the end of the interview. And the next day he called me and was like, you're hired. Everybody loved you. Come on board. We want you on the team. And that was probably my best moment because one, this is my first. I didn't go to any other shop. I didn't interview anywhere else, which is crazy because people ask me, well, how did you know you want to be there? And the answer to that is, you know, when you walk in somewhere and you feel the energy, you feel like you fit in, like, why go try 50, 11 places? Like, I just trust.
And this was down the street.
That was, 357 Main Street. I just trusted that was it. Like, everything about White's Barber Code then was everything that I dreamed of being in because, one, the customer service, they was dressed to the 9s and the 10s, button up, bow tie, nice shoes, and I learned in Paul Mitchell that you are your walking billboard. So how you appear is how your guests, you know, see you. So if you want to be taken serious as a barber or a stylist, you should dress accordingly. So I was immediately impressed. And so for him to call me, I'm thinking I'm going to have to wait a week the next day and hire me like that. I was just like, I got the job. You know, so that was probably my best moment. I really enjoyed the DMV Barber Expo. So Brian highlighted me and giving me a spot where I could do a demo shave at the very first expo. The first expo I did a demo, the straight razor shave. The second expo, I did a demo with my business partner, Kay Mariah. She's the dermabarb, esthetician, barber, and that was dope too. So I just gave you like 2 moments.
No, that's cool. Good. So let's go on your Instagram name.
The Dope Day Maker.
Yeah. So what's that all about? I like it. It's very unique.
So a day maker is a super cool person or event that makes someone whole entire day. Anybody can be a day maker. You could be a day maker. You know, they make a shirt for anybody. Anybody can be a day maker. But what makes me dope is that they want you to believe when you come into the industry, you got to find your lane. You got to find what your specialty is. And for me, I do everything. I'm a cosmetologist and a barber, but I'm not limited to anything. As a cosmetologist, I do straight, coarse, natural, relaxed, whatever, you know. There's nothing that I don't do. Weaves, wigs, locks, you know, and then I can switch it up on you and put somebody in a chair and give them a fade at the same time. So that's what makes me the dope day maker. The fact that I don't hone in on one thing in particular, but I'm well rounded. You don't find too many cosmetologists and barber that can put anyone in their chair and give a skill and don't say, well, I only do or I don't do. There's no don't. There's dope.
Gotcha.
Just dope, no don't.
All right, dope. Well, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you.
It was definitely
thank you for coming and checking
nice.
me out.
Yeah. I like this interview. It was definitely dope. Yes.
With the Dope Day Maker.
Yes.
Follow me on Instagram at the Dope Day Maker and check out our new space at DC Home. That's DCHOMME. We're located in Laurel on Main Street 317. Nothing like this place. The first men's grooming lounge in this area, and probably within the DMV. I know there's a grooming lounge in DC and one in Baltimore, QG in Baltimore.
It's a couple of them.
Yeah. But I don't think I've seen anything like this place. So come check us out.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.